What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Mastering PGA 2K25. Today we're specifically talking about putting and how I go about it. In the old game, we did a bunch of numbers, we did a lot of math, kind of identify how much we need to move to the left and move to the right, counting grid lines. In this game, I don't particularly do that anymore. There are times when I kind of mentally make a number up, but I don't. This game, it's all about feel, especially with how many variables there are with putting the ball. You have open, close, push, pull. That all affects your putter just as much as it does your approach shots and your driving. So let's jump in and I'll kind of go over how I do it. And then after that, after we kind of beat the dead horse on how to putt and how I putt, I'll play on a course and show you in real time how I'm thinking about it. I'll slow down and talk you step by step of what I'm seeing and why I'm hitting it the way I'm hitting it. All right, so here we go. Upon approaching the green, you stuck the landing, you made it, like I got it, here we go. Let's go step by step how I think about a putt as soon as I get to the green. Step one, I look at elevation. Is it uphill or is it downhill? There are two factors that can indicate your elevation. It's going to be this upward arrow next to the distance, which you'll see here and you'll see here. All right, so it's telling me it's 3 inches above my feet. The flag is 3 inches above my feet. I'm aiming 6 inches above my feet. That's where the ball would end. The second indication of elevation is the grid lines. As you notice, these white ticks are moving towards my feet, which means it's coming downhill at me. If it was going away from my feet, this arrow would be pointing down and it would indicate that it's downhill. Number two, the second thing I think about when I get to a putt is it moving left to right or right to left? If you look at the screen, you notice there are 3 grid lines between me and the flag. And there's these white ticks moving left to right. That is indicating that it is moving left to right. Now, there are colors associated with the speeds on how much is moving left to right. That's going to be green, yellow, and red. I personally am colorblind, so I don't typically use the colors as much, especially if it's on a green that's not really contrasting enough. I look at the white ticks to see how fast they're moving, and that will give me an indication. If it's red, it's moving really fast, so the white line's moving really fast. If it's yellow, it's moving medium speed, and if it's green, it's moving slow, all right? And then the third thing I look at is the speed of the green. Number 3, the speed of the green. This number will change dynamically throughout all the courses you play. So right now we're at a 96, that's very slow, right? You'll sometimes see 134, 142, 164, 205 if you're playing on one of those wacky courses, the player created stuff. That tells you how fast the green is moving. That matters because it determines how hard you have to hit the ball. If you're going uphill and the green is fast, you're not going to have to hit it as hard because the ball will roll further. Whereas if the number was low and you're hitting it uphill, you're going to have to hit it harder because the green is slower. All right, so we get to this putt. We see it's 3 inches above my feet. So we know it's uphill. We see that it is moving left to right because of these white grid lines, slow left to right, and we know the green is slow. Okay. Now, what I usually do when I get to a green is I personally, because I've played so much, and you'll get a feel of this, I just think about how the ball is going to roll from this point. From this point, I'm like, okay, cool. If it were to roll, it's going to slightly move that way, right? So I would aim to the left and visualize it. Now, there is a really cool technique you can do, and that is press Y and then move down. If you press Y and move down on your analog stick, you can get all the way to the ground and you can truly see what's going on with your putt. All right, you can kind of look around if you need to, but it allows you to see exactly what angle the putt's going to take. After I kind of identified those 3 factors, you can take into account power, but the game does a really good job at identifying how much power you're going to need. No matter what difficulty you're playing on, unless you're playing on legend, it's going to give you a rough estimate that's, I wouldn't even say rough, I'd say 95% to 99% accurate. All right, so it's braking really slow. It's a slow green, so the brakes aren't going to be as dramatic. So I'm going to hit like right here, like just left center of the cup. Here we go. Now, with Evo swing, you gotta take into account, if I were to aim same spot and accidentally push it, doesn't work very well. Here's the outcome. Whoops. You might have been aimed correctly, but it doesn't matter. Same thing if I pull it. All right, I'm not even talking about the contact, open and closed. So you got to make sure you get into a practice range and you take some time to really practice your Evo swing. I personally would always try to keep your control in the same spot at all times and really try to understand how to go up and down straight for putts. So here we go. We're going to try another putt. We're aiming on the left edge of the cup. Yeah, I pushed it a little bit, but I gave it enough power to where it's going to make the hole. All right, that was a push and a close, but the line is good enough to where it's going to correct it. Okay, that's what I do. 3 things: up or down, left or right, and how fast is the ball going to move. If we get here, we're like, what are we looking at? Is it uphill? It goes uphill, but then it goes downhill. As you can see, it's uphill here because it's coming towards my feet, but then it goes downhill at the flag, which means I'm going to have to hit it hard enough to get over the hill, but not too hard that it rolls past the flag and now I'm putting back up to the flag. Second thing, left to right. Grid lines are moving. They're moving fairly fast. Okay. Left to right. I'm like, okay, so it's going to break a little bit more to the right than it did last time, if not more. It's further, which means there's more time for that break to affect the ball. And it's still the same green speeds. So let's see how we would approach this. If you want to do this technique, hit Y, go down your analog stick, and you can kind of aim. Like, okay. I don't think that's enough. Aim a little bit more. Now, I know if you're a right-handed putter, this type of break, right to left, is challenging because I can't see the flag at all. You can actually cycle through your cameras and get a top-down view so you can see what would happen. And you can kind of imagine the ball working its way up the hill, hitting the hill and breaking, hopefully over to the flag. So that wasn't too much. So it's somewhere in between there. Somewhere in between there. So it might be a power thing. It might legitimately be a power thing. I might need to go steeper angle, but more power. So I did a little bit more power, brought the angle down, but pushed it a little bit more. You got to kind of step by step figure out and diagnose what went wrong, and then make sure you change that on your next one. Like, okay, cool. I didn't do enough power because I didn't take into account how much this is pushing and how much rollout there is at the end. It's definitely a game about feel. You can do numbers, there are ways, but it's more about feel than you think. All right, here we go. Now we have a downhill. All right, downhill, breaking right to left, same putt speed. Downhill, right to left, same speeds of the greens. We got to take into account the power. You notice how now my pointer is here and the flag is here. That's because it's doing an algorithm to give you less power because it's going to travel faster because it's going down a hill. So because it's going downhill, it's going to break more because there's more speed on the ball. If the ball is rolling faster, the break is going to be more dramatic. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're going downhill or you're on a green that says like 167 green speeds. The faster the ball moves, the more the break's going to affect it. There's a lot of variables. If it's moving downhill, the break's going to affect it a little bit more. This time I'm going to aim a whole cup outside to take into account the downhill and the right to left movement. Here we go. And it actually landed on the left side of the cup. So I could have gone maybe another half a ball out. Right in the heart. So I hope that helps. Next, we're going to jump into some actual live play on a course. So the green speed is a little bit different and it's a little bit more dynamic. So you can kind of see what happens when I get to a green. If I mess up my approach shot, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's time to lock in. So let's jump into a real course and we'll kind of see what's going on. Par 3, we stick the green. We're feeling pretty good about ourselves. 8 feet from the hole. What's the play? Check elevation. No elevation. Yay. Right to left. A little bit of a break, and it's going a little fast. And then, of course, check green speeds. 132. Okay, like a medium speed. So we would take into account that is braking left. Look down, kind of visualize like, okay, I think that would be it. You're obviously not going to want to go straight on. That'll just brake immediately. Keep going, like, yeah, I think that feels good. There we go. It's fairly simple, but I understand it can be difficult. So I hope that some of the stuff I've gone over today, and I hope you seeing kind of what I take into account, and you realizing you need to just get into a range, or you need to play a ton more rounds to get comfortable with the new Evo swing and comfortable with just visualization and feel. Okay. All right, here's an example from last stream. I needed the putt to make a birdie on a par 5 against this guy who was absolutely just cooking me. Let's check it out. I mean, it was pretty nice. It was from far out too. And so basically what I did was when I got here, you can't see. I get here. In my head, I noticed it's not downhill. It's on line with me. 136. I don't need to see it because we played a few holes already on the screen. I don't look at it. But as soon as I see that we were left to right, I move it out just a little bit, take into consideration how far it's going. I just let it rip. I mean, we're talking seconds. I don't really walk through everything, every single shot. Maybe sometimes I should, but sometimes you just don't need to, especially when you start to understand the feel and the visualization in your head. Here it is again. All right, here's another one. I needed this eagle to beat this guy on this hole. He actually beat me the match before. We re-queued and ended up going against each other again. Very quick adjustments, but it was like super crucial that I made this putt. Here it is. All right, so I get up there. I immediately look. I know it's going to go right to left. It's moving a little bit fast. 114, slow green. I mean, and look at my reaction. I'll show you the reaction. I'm wearing the same sweater. That's funny. Look at this. So I hope that kind of shows you guys I know a little bit. Now, if you jump on my stream and I miss 7 putts in a row, that's completely normal. It's going to happen. It just happens. All right. It is what it is. Sometimes you're on it. Sometimes you're off it. But if you're on it more, you shoot better. I really hope that some of this helps, makes you feel like you're not going crazy. I get it. It's kind of challenging. There's some weird stuff in this game, especially with the putting. If you have any questions or you think, hey, what about this? Or hey, what about that? Or if you have a tip for me, please drop it in the comments below. It really helps, especially when you like it while you're doing it. Thank you so much. Until next time, peace, and please make more birdies.